Hey, how's it going, guys? Jack and Matt here with the Toaster Bros, and today we're going to be reviewing the top 5 mice that are $50 or less.
These are some of the most popular mice that you can get right now, and they come with a wide range of different features, and we're going to let you know what we like the best. But before we get into that, let's hear a word from today's sponsor. Today's video is brought to you by NVIDIA and their GeForce Now streaming service. Stay tuned till later in today's video to learn more about it. Thanks again to NVIDIA for sponsoring this video. Now let's look at some mice, shall we?
So all the mice you see here, like we said, are under $50, and they're all extremely popular mice. So you should be able to find them on eBay, Newegg, Amazon. We'll have links in the description down below for all 3 sites likely, because it's hard to find stuff right now.
So we're going to be measuring some of the attributes of these mice, first the weight and then some of the dimensions of it for those at home who want to know specifically how this mouse might feel in the hand, and then also just give you a quick general reaction as to what we think of these mice, because some of these I use, like this one I use at home and here at the office. I know Zach uses one of these mice over here, and yeah, we're just going to give you our general impressions and try to keep this as short and to the point as possible, but you can probably tell by the length of this video if we actually did that. So
we're already 3 minutes in.
Yeah, let's go ahead and start working on this, shall we?
Okay guys, so the first mouse that we have here is the Cooler Master MM711. So it's very similar to the 710, except this one actually has RGB. It comes with a PMW3389 sensor. It's 1000 hertz polling rate, 4 millisecond latency, and 16,000 max DPI. It has a really awesome soft braided cable, which is really great, especially for playing a lot of games and whatnot, so you don't have a heavy cable dragging around. It has Omron mechanical switches and also onboard memory. So let's go ahead and see what this mouse weighs right over here with the magical scale. So we're gonna do this without the cable on most of it.
58 grams.
58 grams, which I think is literally exactly about what they advertise. Might be, you know, a couple grams off, but good scale over here. It's a really lightweight mouse, and now let's go ahead and take some measurements. So guys, if this video does good, we're gonna opt and get a actual micrometer or digital caliper. We have one at home, but we couldn't find it. So, you know, we're just gonna use a tape measure for this, so don't make fun of us. But we have about 5 inches from the end of the mouse to the end of the mouse, so lengthwise. It looks like 4, I guess you could call it like width. We have about, I'd say like 2.5, 2 3/4. And then we don't really have a way to measure the height very well. I'm gonna say it's about 1.5 inches tall at the tallest point. So pretty comfortable mouse, just for personal opinions now. It's a good looking mouse. It has RGB and it's super lightweight. And honestly, you would think that these little holes wouldn't be very comfortable, but I don't know, they're kind of nice. They help your hand keep very airy, so you're not getting all sweaty and getting your gamer goo on the side of the mouse. This mouse is breathable. So this mouse, as far as RGB goes, has a lot of RGB. We have all of this glowing, we have the logo glowing, we have the mouse wheel glowing. A lot of RGB, even shows through the sides. Really lightweight. We have 2 nice little macros on the side here. DPI switch, also very grippy scroll wheel, so that's not gonna be slipping like crazy. So overall, I'm really digging this mouse.
All right guys, so as you can tell, we have 2 mice here, mainly because these mice are pretty similar. This is the Model O and Model D from Glorious. Now, the Model D is a ergonomic mouse, so it's not any bit different than any other mouse out there. It's just more contoured to your hand, so it is much more comfortable, while the Model O is an ambidextrous mouse. So if you're a left-handed user, you can use it with your left hand without having some weird thumb rest that is causing any problems. So let's go ahead and unbox these real quick. Now let's go ahead and talk about the specs real quick of these mice. They both feature the Pixart 3360 sensor, a 1000 hertz polling rate in less than 0.7 millimeters of liftoff distance, 4 milliseconds of latency, and a 12,000 max DPI, which is kind of ridiculous. But they both also feature a very soft braided cable, which is very popular amongst these really lightweight mice. And they do have Omron mechanical switches, which is a pretty popular switch for a gaming mouse nowadays. They both also have onboard memory, so you can use their RGB software to show off the RGB that these things do possess, which we will show later in a, well, B-roll session. So we're gonna first start off with is the weight. So we're gonna turn on our handy dandy scale right here, make sure the cable is off. This is the Model D, and it comes in at, what are we looking at here?
66 grams.
66 grams. Now, this mouse is known to be a little bit heavier than the MM711 or MM710, so this was to be expected. Let's go ahead and try the Model O real quick.
64 grams.
And there you go. Not a huge difference within margin of error, I would believe. But yeah, this one being ambidextrous makes it easy. If you are someone who's left-handed, you can use it left-handed. So this would be an obvious option for somebody who is left-handed. So first up with Model D, with our very scientific method here, the length is about 6 inches, like pretty much 6 inches right there, and it just shot across right there. So we'll do the width to inches, give or take. And then the height, which is not very scientific either. We're going to call that, what does it look like?
Looks like it's right a little over 2 at the max height.
Well, there you go, a little over 2 at the max height. So I'm assuming it's probably very similar over here. So we're looking at about 3 in terms of width. Length is about 6, about the same. And then this is probably pretty identical. So about 2.
Yeah, it's a little on. That one's about 2.5.
2.5.
A little closer, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, those are basic measurements of these mice. We'll go ahead and plug them up real quick and check out that RGB. Now these two mice, as we mentioned, are very similar. The RGB looks pretty nice. This was actually programmed to purple right now because it's the mouse that Zach's used here at the office. But yeah, this one's white, this one black. You can get each one in white or black if you're interested. The button layout is very similar on both mice. We have the 2 macro buttons right here, the DPI switch, and a texturized mouse wheel so you don't slip on that mouse wheel. Yeah, same thing over here with the other version of this mouse. But overall, very impressed with these mice. They are some of the most popular lightweight mice you can get. The braided cable is awesome. It's pretty much like it's wireless. And yeah, very impressed with this one. Let's go ahead and check out the next mice.
All right, guys, so the next mouse that we have is the Razer Viper Mini, and I'm gonna be honest, it's been a long time since I've touched anything Razer, so let's get right into it. So the Razer Viper Mini has a Pixart 3359 sensor, 1000 Hz polling rate, 1 millisecond latency, and a maximum of 8500 max DPI, so a little bit lower than the other ones. Nice soft braided cable. It's not quite as lightweight as the others, but this also isn't a super lightweight mouse. And then it does have Razer optical mouse switches, so it's basically a proprietary switch. It does have onboard memory for performance settings, but not for RGB. The software is known as not being the greatest because a lot of games detect it as anti-cheat. So keep that in mind because it does have a lot of bugs and it can crash things, but we are gonna weigh this mouse because it actually is fairly lightweight and is supposed to be Razer's kind of first lightweight mouse. Wow, so that's actually supposedly lighter than the Glorious ones, which is... So something that I did not expect is that this Razer mouse that has no holes or anything drilled into it is lighter than the Glorious mice. So it is a little bit smaller. We're actually gonna measure it now to see how much smaller. So lengthwise, it's only about 5 inches. I believe the Glorious ones were about 6. Width is about 2 1/4, 2 1/2, so definitely a little bit smaller on width, I believe. And then height, oh yeah, it's about 1.5 inches tall. So here, I'll show that to you guys. So it has a much more low profile to it, which is within reason. It's called the Viper Mini. So of course it's gonna be a little bit lighter weight. Let's go ahead and plug it in and see how the RGB looks. So for the Razer mouse, we just have a singular point of RGB, so it's a little bit boring. It's just the Razer Naga logo, which is actually pretty typical of Razer. So I mean, as far as like the feel and everything goes, we have a very nice kind of textured finish. It's not like the other ones where they're nice and smooth. And once again, just like all the other mice, 2 macros on the side. We have the singular DPI, which I actually like this DPI switch is very small, so it's not very easy to hit accidentally. And then once again, very nice textured scroll wheel, which seems to be a general consensus of all the most popular mice.
So now that we've looked at the Razer Viper Mini, let's test it out with today's video sponsor, NVIDIA, and their GeForce Now service.
So we know a lot of you guys are watching our videos to figure out how to build a gaming PC. Well, there is now a slight workaround to that. If you have a system that, well, just can't handle gaming, GeForce Now might just be the thing for you.
GeForce Now is a cloud gaming service that basically gives you the power of an NVIDIA GPU in the cloud through the internet on any PC that you want to use, even other mobile devices.
The library includes hundreds of ready-to-play games, including the biggest free-to-play titles and 1,000+ games through single-session installs. The coolest part too is GeForce Now also lets you play games you already own and love through digital game stores.
GeForce Now currently has a couple of membership options. You can do the free plan, which limits you to 1-hour gaming sessions, but if you have a PC right now, you can go use it free right now. Links in the description down below, or you can sign up today at the discounted rate of $4.99 a month for 12 months and get unlimited access to GeForce Now. And if you sign up for the Founders Edition right now, you get priority access to their game servers along with 6-hour playing sessions. So definitely give this a shot if you have a laptop like this and want to play games like Apex Legends and be a real gamer like Jackson, because we all know he's the realest of gamers. So the first and only wireless mouse we're going to be testing in this roundup is the G305 from Logitech. Now, one thing to point out, wireless mice have come a long way in terms of getting really awesome performance compared to wired mice. So there really isn't that big of a compromise anymore when going with wireless, besides the fact that it does add weight because of the internal battery. So let's go ahead and open this up. So one thing about this mouse is the fact that it actually uses a battery, which looks to be a AA battery. So that's kind of a downer. I probably would have preferred to have it actually be rechargeable, which is understandable. If you do get a rechargeable battery, it's probably gonna be bigger and will weigh more. But anyways, let's go ahead and put this back on. And And yeah, this is the mouse. It's pretty standard. Let's go ahead and run over the specs real quick. Now this mouse comes with the Hero sensor with a 1000 hertz polling rate, 1 millisecond latency, and a 12,000 max DPI. It does not come with a cable, as I mentioned. It only comes with this little extender for the wireless adapter, which is kind of a bummer. I would like to see a cable, so if for some reason your battery dies, you can just plug the cable in back to your wireless mouse and still use it in wired mode, which is normally what happens with wireless mice nowadays. It does come with arm-run mechanical switches and onboard memory, which the software that Logitech provides is average, but it may contain some bugs. Again, with any software nowadays, there could be some bugs, but this one is average at best. Now let's go ahead and check the weight of this mouse. No cable to get in the way. Set it right there. What are we looking at?
96 grams.
This boy is definitely more hefty than the others, and I could tell that when I first picked it up. With the battery inside, you're definitely gonna add some weight. So if you're looking for a truly lightweight mouse, this is probably not the mouse for you, but it is still relatively lightweight. So it depends on what your standards are. And if you've used something like an MM710 or other mouse that we've tested in this video, you might not be able to go to this one very smoothly. But if you use heavier mice than this, it might be a good upgrade for you. Now for length, we're looking at about 5.5 inches, give or take. More, actually, no, never mind. Let's try that again. From like right about here, we're looking at about 5 inches. The width is about, I would say, 2 3/4-ish. And then the height, we'll do it right here. What are we looking at? 1.5, so pretty standard all around. It is a smaller mouse, and I think it does compare more to the Viper Mini. I'm not a huge fan of this because, well, wired mice nowadays with those really lightweight cables are almost as if they're wireless. Like, you really don't even feel the cable at all. It doesn't hold you back. But if you are somebody who really wants a clean setup, wireless is the way to go, and I know this is a pretty popular option, so definitely consider this one. Now this mouse being wireless, it does not come with any RGBs. It's pretty plain, which is to be expected with a mouse that is on battery. It would really be draining really fast if it had RGB on there, but in terms of the button layout, pretty much exactly the same as every other mouse. We have the 2 programmable macro buttons here, DPI switch, and a texturized scroll wheel, which is pretty much standard nowadays for all these mice, and you know what? Should we have even mentioned it? I don't know, but you know what? We did anyways. Yeah, wireless mouse. It's not for everybody. There's a lot of people who might want RGB and want to have the ability to plug their mouse into their computer. You know, these lightweight mice nowadays with their braided cables are almost as if they are wireless with how light they are, and there's very little drag. So it really depends on what kind of person you are and what your use case is, but this mouse might be for you.
So what we have here is the SteelSeries Rival 3, which a lot of you guys know SteelSeries and a lot of you guys love them. We're actually gonna check out their best gaming mouse from IGN. So for the SteelSeries, we have TrueMove core sensor, basically a PMW 331 sensor, 1000 hertz polling rate, 1 millisecond latency, 8500 max DPI, actually has a soft rubber cable rather than the typical braided cable, SteelSeries mechanical switches, and onboard memory for performance settings, but not for RGB. So this one, I'm gonna take a guess that it's gonna be a little bit lighter. I think it's gonna be in between the battery powered one and the last one that we weighed.
84 grams.
84, okay, so relatively in between. So honestly, I don't feel a huge difference from like 67 to 84. You can somewhat feel it, but I will say for the size of this mouse, with it being a full-size mouse, it does feel lighter. So for measurements, as always, we have about 5 inches. And like we said, these are not exact measurements, so they've all been like 5 inches. For width, it looks like we have about 2 3/4 wide at the actual grip point. And then for height, I'll go ahead and shut the camera, I don't know what you can see there.
About 1.5. Yeah, something like that.
Okay, so about 1.5, so pretty standard once again. Let's go ahead and plug it in and see what the Roy G Biv looks like. So we have a really nice looking RGB. The effect goes all the way around, and as you can see, the logo also glows. The SteelSeries logo, nice satin finish. Pretty decent feeling hefty mouse. We also have a DPI switch. We have a really nice grippy textured mouse wheel so that you're not gonna be slipping on it, and then also 2 macros on the side for all of you gamers out there. So we have now checked out the last mouse. Let's go ahead and see what we rated all of these.
All right, guys, if you've seen any of our top 5 videos, we like to give a general rating of what we think are the best mice in our opinions. Of course, your opinion may be different, but starting at number 1, we have the Cooler Master MM711/710. We really like this mouse. I use it personally, one of my favorite lightweight mice, and just mice in general. We have right here, in a surprising fashion, the Razer Viper Mini, because, well, it's kind of like a lightweight mouse, but also not having the cheese grater look that some people really don't like. So you have that best of both worlds, basically, with the same cable, so we were really really impressed with this mouse. In third place is the Glorious mice. Nothing against Glorious. Second and third is really close. You could go with either or and it'd be a really good option, but we absolutely love these mice as well. And the last two right here are kind of okay-ish mice. We have the SteelSeries mouse, which is, well, pretty basic compared to the other ones. It doesn't have any crazy standout features. It has a good sensor, but that's about it. The cable is pretty lackluster as well, but again, personal preference. And last is the wireless mouse. This could be number one for some people if they absolutely want wireless because, well, it's the only one out here. We really think that the versions that come with cables are a little bit better right now, and this one just seems to have too many sacrifices to make it a wireless mouse. So how about we go ahead and go back over here real quick and wrap this video up.
So don't forget, you guys can buy any of the mice that we use in this video on Amazon, Newegg, or eBay. We'll have links for anything that's available in the description below. They are affiliate links, so they do help us out greatly.
If you like this format of video, let us know in the comment section down below. We like doing the keyboard ones. We did a mouse video in the past, but it didn't do nearly as well, so we wanted to redo this with some more popular mice and see what you guys think. Let us know down below if there's any other things you want us to see us do a top 5 roundup of. We'll be happy to consider it.
Also, don't forget to check out our other 2 YouTube channels and also our twitch.tv/toastybros. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
And we will see you guys in the next one. Goodbye. Mice, mice, mice,
So
mice.
a pile of mice boxes.